Hello, good morning from here, and my name is Osatohame Patrick Aigogu. Yes, it's another interesting time and interesting opportunity to share knowledge. Welcome to Cloud Training for the Enthusiast. I'm your pilot, Osatohame Patrick, as I mentioned before. So today we are just going to talk about how to deploy a WordPress in an EC2. Yes, in our last class, we mentioned S3 bucket, how you can take an application from S3 bucket straight to your EC2 instance, and Eureka, it was awesome. But some question came in like, what is WordPress? How can we get WordPress installed and everything? And I was like, okay, instead of talking, why not just give a class on WordPress? And we're going to talk a little of database because without database, even website cannot even function. Talk a little about what database. And I'm going to send some materials on how all those things, everything we do here, I'm going to send the code, the script, so you can try it yourself. It's very simple. Okay, so I haven't said that. Let's go. Okay, so let's go. First of all, we're going to talk about the infrastructure. You want to set up your infrastructure because everything you're going to do in WordPress is still going to be in the infrastructure. You want to launch your EC2 instance, configure the security, do everything about your infrastructure, AWS infrastructure. For me, I'm using Terraform basically because I want to easily dispose after the training. I want it to be easy for me to just clear without going to be deleting every other thing I created, all the resources I created. I just want it to be simple. So you decide to now next class I'm going to talk about infrastructure as a service because Terraform is an infrastructure as a service. And it's very interesting to use and it's simple to use. The scripting is very language. You use Ashicop. It's close to normal human language and it's not really about structure. You don't need to be putting the structure EC2 first, VPC. You can arrange your blocks like building a house. But this is an intelligent application. I would recommend you to use. It's easy to get. Just go to terraform.io, download it, and download your VSC code. Like this is a Visual Studio Code. And so this is not. We are going to have a class for this, but for this purpose, we are just using this Terraform to deploy our app, our infrastructure, our security group, and everything. So let's just go so oh well, I don't want to waste the time. So let's just I will meet you up after my infrastructure is set up. So you can just pause, set up infrastructure. We are using T2 large. The reason I want us to use T2 large is because we are going to put both the database and the WordPress in one server. So I want the server to be able to handle both way. Well, it's not the best practice for a production environment. You're supposed to have two instances, one in 180, the other is on that 80. Then you have your database because WordPress, any entrance, any contact, any request, every data, every login should be saved in database. So it must be safe and secure. So for practice, this is just for practice. So it's welcome. You can do this. You can just use one instance. But in a production environment, I want to tell you the best practice. But I'm going to be using some little best practice. So I'm using so I'll see you when when my infrastructure is up. So and watch out for this class. This class is going to be very interesting. So my infrastructure is being created. We are using South Africa because I'm in Nigeria. So South Africa is close to me. So I want ask the instance to be available close to me to reduce latency. I want the latency I want it to be very easy. And whenever I'm accessing it, the time of my access, and I've created a WordPress. I created a WordPress RSA, that's for keep pair. So let's go to our instances right now. Let's see. Okay, it's still creating Cape Town. Okay, let's say let's give it some time. Let's give it some time. I'll come back when it's fully when I fully deployed it. So I'll come back. Okay, I think this is another opportunity. Maybe let me just talk a little about what we are going to do. Let me just show you the presentation so that it will be easy for us. So what is a database? A database is actually another storage system. It's just that it's an application that enable that you attach to a site or to any application, a web application or any other application in order to just collect data. You know, when you go to a website and they give you a form to fill, immediately you fill that form, you discover that the site have that data. There's a place that those data goes to. There's an application that sieve those data and save it either in a table form or in an object form, so that when you want to log in again, you put in your data, it will, if it tallies with the data that they have in the system before, it will tell you that, oh, welcome. Otherwise, it will tell you uh, invalid invalid access, or those kind of form, those kind of application, those kind of admin that you create is a database. So this is what we talked about last time. This is a database. It's used to collect data from servers and generate and query. So most database you after if most times when the admin of the database want to sieve some information, there's a language they use. It's called structural query language. It's an SQL. It enable the user to the admin to sieve information that have been saved. Maybe 300 users have entered, have logged in. You want to check the people you want to know, you want to save information, use a language called structural query language, which is SQL. Maybe you've heard of SQL. So it's a very interesting thing. So what's the definition of database? Database is an organized collection of structured information or data, typically stored electronically in a computer system. You get me? This data can be easily accessed, managed, and modified, updated, controlled, organized. Most databases use a structured query language, SQL, for writing and querying. So these are the things you need to know about database. And I'm going to send you a link. I'm going to send the link. You can go to this link and you can get to know more about database. So that's why you hear database admin, database engineer, database programmer. So there are so many database aspects, and if I'm to really focus on this database, we will not leave this class today. But these are the basic type of database. We have centralized, we have distributed, we have relational database, we have no SQL database, we have cloud database. Even this cloud database currently has all those things like the AWS we're talking about. They have a database API called the RODS. The RODS help you to manage this database without you going to doing it by yourself. You know, just deploy, instruct the RODS. The RODS can even launch the database for you, can launch and give you an endpoint that you use to connect your server. So, and that's the cloud database. We have the object storage database. So many database. We have hierarchy database. Like we have the maybe you've heard of Oracle. Oracle is an application. It's a company that also mostly deals on relational database and other database. So I will want to focus more on that because this class is not about really about database. It's just a little idea because we are going to be installing one database called MariaDB. I want to use MySQL to query it. So this is a CMS. What is this CMS? CMS means content delivery. So WordPress is categorized under platform as a service. What do I mean by platform as a service? I'm creating it from the scratch now because I'm launching my resources. I'm creating my VPC, like using Terraform you saw earlier, and using Terraform to launch my EC2 instance, my security group, my subnet, my public IP, private IP, so that I can be able to access it, my load balancer, all those things are infrastructure as a service. But I can create this WordPress and send it to anybody to use So the person may not even need to be creating those infrastructure to use this WordPress. That's why it's on that platform as a service, because I've already created infrastructure. So I can send you the link. You can start designing your WordPress, designing your website without getting to know everything about how the infrastructure is being set up. Understand? So that is why it's categorized on that platform as a service. It's a CMS. CMS means content management system. You can use is used to manage website, used to manage most of e-commerce sites you see today. Most of them are being designed by using WordPress and other CMS system. So it's easy to use, it's secure, it has variety of plugins. So you don't need to learn Laravel on how to do, if you want, maybe you want to design an API, there's already a suite API. API means application interface, application programmable interface. So you don't need to learn how to do all those JavaScript, how to use Python, how to use other programming, high-end programming language. You just pick up something that somebody have already designed, just put it in your site like a plugin and start using those features. You know, it's very interesting to use, and is most like me when I started designing website, I basically started with WordPress. So WordPress is something interesting. It's a very fabulous platform as a service, content delivery service. You will enjoy it. Then it's very interesting, especially if you are coming from a graphics background. It will make you even stand out because you'll be able to modify your UI and UX. You'll be able to understand the user interface, design it the way you like. But this class is basically on WordPress, how to install WordPress. So I wouldn't want to take most time because I want this class to be brief. But everything about WordPress, I'm going to send a link. You can see it here. Go to wordpress.com/learn. You will see everything about WordPress. So I haven't said about a brief about WordPress. Now let's go to our stuff. So I want to design, as I mentioned, I'm setting up my infrastructure using Terraform, which I've just done. Then I'm going to log in using Git badge. It's not God badge, it's Git badge. Um, Git badge is also a form of an application by Git. So it has a bash language, which is born again shell. So it's close to EC2 shell language. So it's close. So since the platform is very easy, so I can communicate with it easily and log into my server with it. Then after logging, I'm going to install PHP. Then after installing my PHP, then I will install, after installing my PHP, I'm going to install my WordPress. Then after installing my WordPress, then after installing my WordPress, I'll configure the DB, then create my website with a theme plug, so stuff. But I may not be able to go deep into those things, but I'll just show you one or two basic things. You can go and try it up yourself, you understand? So having said this, I think we should go straight back. And by this time, my instance should be ready. Let's go. My instance should be ready by now. Okay, let me refresh. Wow, it's not ready. Okay, I think, let me see my configuration. Perhaps I may have used on other zone. Okay, so let me check my, so I'll see you back in, okay, I'll see you. Okay, you can see my instances are already created. I have two instances, and these are the public IP addresses. So basically for this class. So I think by this, let me just copy the public IP address here and use it. Okay, I'm going to make this Terraform available for you too on my GitHub account. It's very easy for you to download and just use. So let's go. Let's go. So let's go to our console. You see, there are two available already. Two stuff already available, and let's go straight to my. Okay, I've already brought my Git. I'm already in the directory, working directory of the application where my GitHub is WordPress. So I can start configuring. I think it's SSH. My key pair is WordPress.pem. Then EC2 at EC2/user at WordPress. My public IP address, the one you copy. I've already changed the mode. I made it read, so I already changed it to 400. You can see, already changed it to 400 here. I've changed the WordPress to 400, so my GitHub can access it. So now I'm already in the server right now. So these are the procedures we're going to do. The processes, first of all, we're going to install we're going to update. After you've updated all the dependency, I said you create your infrastructure IAM. I've already made the IAM available. I logged in as an admin, so IAM is an admin. A security group, I've enabled port 443, port 80, and port 3306. Another port that will enable my instance to connect to my database. So, sorry, since both of them are in the same, I'm going to launch it in the same instance, so it will be available so that they can communicate to themselves. So let's start with I'm already logged in using Git. I'm using Git batch. You can use Spotty, you can use CMD. So now let's install our PHP and let's configure our WordPress. So okay, let's configure our WordPress right away. Okay, let's install our dependency. Let's update. So it's already updated. When I was launching the instance, I already configured the terraform to do all the updates. So I think we should install our PHP. So this document, I'm going to make it available for you to make use of it. You can also follow through the site. So because PHP we are using is in the extra. So let's confirm that there's extra, the Amazon Linux extra is in my system, so it's available. Now, what next thing? Okay, go straight to this. Install extra, nothing to do because already been installed. And let's install our PHP. Let's get PHP. I said pipe search for PHP in my extra. You know, to search it. So there are how many PHP? We have PHP 8.0. It's available. It's not stable. The one that is stable, the most stable one is 7.3. Well, it's for response. What are we doing? We're just doing a class. So in fact, I should make come back clear, and I should run it again so that you know. We have so many PHP in that file. So we have PHP 7.2, we have PHP 7.3, PHP 7.4, 7.8.0. This 7.4 is unstable. This 8.0 is unstable, meaning it's still under trial. But what were we doing? It's training. It's class. In a production environment, you can't use that because it's unstable. So you are supposed to use 7.3, but we are using 7.4 here. Stable, unstable, we don't care. Okay, let's go. For now, let's try it out. So I'm using 7.4. Okay. Oh, okay, it's been installed. 7.4 latest is enabled. Okay. Then let's clean the metadata. Cleaned. Okay, let's install PHP and other dependency. Done. Okay. Now let's see the version that we have. Okay, I said you want to download here. Yes, please. To download. Okay, let's see the version we have. Okay, so we have 7.42. So it's clear. Now what we have PHP already installed, PHP version. Okay. Now the next thing we need to do now, I think we should install our MariaDB. You can decide to use any other DB. You can decide to use MySQL, but I'm using MariaDB. So let's install MariaDB. Let's under that same extra, there should be MariaDB there. Let's see. I can also say which MariaDB will tell you. So we have MariaDB 7.2 is compatible 7.2, 10.0. Then we also have MariaDB 10.5. Okay, let's use both of them are stable. Okay, say they are stable. Oh, both of them are stable. Good. Oh, meaning that first one is also stable. That 7.2 was actually stable. Sorry, I said unstable. It's stable. So let's use this. Okay, this is an EOF. There's a complete code, a complete code T. Let's run this. So it's going to install action. So it's going to go to MariaDB, installed in MariaDB. Then you're going to go to this MariaDB and download those packages and both the GP key for protection to protect our MariaDB. So let's do that now. That's what we want to do. Let's copy this. See, if it was not be easy now. The MariaDB is already, if my system is protected, I just protected the system from with a key pair, then as protected my system. That's why we can just look up on money and hack it. So store and what next? Okay. These are dependencies still. Okay. Created a card shell. Created my repository priority protection to protect it. Okay. Now what next? Let's go. Let's install the MariaDB now. Control C. Okay. And so now it's asking me, should I go ahead and install? If you want those things to be showing, just attach -y to it. You won't be asking you yes or no. So that one is being installed. Then let's start MariaDB now. Okay. So it said retrieving data from this is okay, yes. We'll answer some questions. We'll read through the questions very well because it's installing the MariaDB transaction text. So Still going to install. You can start to skip through and go towards the end, but for me, I know just wait. Okay, MariaDB is installed fully. Now let's start the MariaDB service. Systemctl enable now MariaDB. So you can see MariaDB status. You see that it's already working. Okay, let me just go sudo MariaDB status. Okay, service. It's running, it's active and running. So, okay, let's configure our SQL. Let's configure our secure SQL stuff. And this is the admin we're talking about. Okay, so I should enter password. You can start to put your password here, but for me, it's a trial. So put a very solid, strong password. But for me, I'm not going to put any password for now. It's asking me, I don't want to switch the Unix authentication on. My system already secured the system. So you say, do I want to? You already have a root account protected. So can you safely answer no? I want to change password? No, Joe. So from here, you just remove anonymous user. You can start to remove it. You can start not to remove it, but types we know is more of so that if you want it to be more secured, you don't need to. You just need to remove it. But for now, I'm not removing it. Do not affect the system. Then disallow root login remotely. Since I'm going to send it to somebody, I can start to say yes, but depends on what they want to use it for. Remove test database access. Yes. Normal SQL access, yes. In production environment, yes. But I want to say no. Reload privilege table. So same thing. Let me just, since I've said yes at the former one, I can say yes. Thank you. MariaDB is installed, it's available. So now my MariaDB is up. My MariaDB is up. My PHP is up. Now my WordPress can now work effectively. So it's time for me to install the WordPress. So now the script for installing the WordPress is still here. So let's install the WordPress. I'm going to go to their site, WordPress, get this zip file. It's an encoded, encrypted zip file that is secured. Okay. So pick that file from their site. Then you can decide to pick it and save it somewhere. This wget could be from your S3 bucket. Remember when we talk about S3 bucket? So I'm just moving file from another public storage. So that's public storage, latest version. So the file is there. Now I want to unzip the file. Unzip the file. Now the file is unzipped. It's open. Now I want to start the service. I've started MariaDB service, which we already started before, but just to be sure, I want to start in our SQL. Okay, SQL start. Okay, now what next? Let's password. Let's change the password for the stuff. For the password for the root user. Did we put password last time? I think we didn't put password last time. Or can decide to put a very strong password. Let us put a very strong password. Let's say, but we didn't put the password the first time. We put password now, it may not work. But let's just try attempt password. Let me put it down. Okay, let me call it WordPress. Okay. So my asking me now, I should configure, I should set up my MariaDB. So I want to set up my username, the account, and everything. So I'll be with you in shortly. Let me do all this configuration, and the processes I'm going to send it to you too. Yeah. Okay. As I want to send you this file. You're going to be in the under the link of this stuff, so that you can use it for your stuff. See, now it said I should put in my create a user. I'm creating the user as WordPress. Then the password, I can decide to use your strong password. For me, I'm using a password that I just used earlier. Let me use one same password. But please use the best practice in a production environment. Use a best practice password. This is not the best practice password. You're going to have both alphanumerical code, you're going to have alphabet, you're going to have different syntax merged together so that to be more secure. But for me, I'm using this. Not the best practice, but don't use this in a production environment. Use a very strong, secure password, you know. Okay, created now. So what I'm doing, I'm configuring my MariaDB. So I say you should create a database called WordPress. So that's created a database called WordPress. Now you create grant privilege. So grant grant all privileges on WordPress DB to WordPress/user.com. This user could be any user. You can put admin, you can put anything. Localhost is created. Now flush privileges that you did not install earlier. Go then the next thing. What you do, you exit. See, you exit. Now I've visited my MariaDB. Now let me configure that file you created just now. If you come here, if you say ls, you see that there's a WordPress already here. I can decide to delete this. So I'll say you should copy this WordPress. So I should copy this WordPress to this from this local WordPress to the WordPress in the system in the PHP file. Because if you go to PHP, you see WordPress stuff here. So I say you should copy everything here. I'm not going to open it. If I open it, you see. Oh, okay, let's open it. CD WordPress. You see something here, ls. You see here inside the configuration files for the index.php, PHP in the README HTML, WordPress admin, contacts, everything that it needs, that WordPress needs to work. So I've copied it from this my system. Look at this environment to the location where it's going to be used. So that's what I just did. Okay, now let's go straight to let's edit our configuration file. There's a configuration file here. WordPress.config. This file. WordPress. This file. So we are editing. So now this authentication key, there's a place you find it. I will show you. You can decide to do it your own. It's way of securing it. Now the database name. I'm using Vim to edit. You can use Nano. You can use if you are logging in, depending on your text editing ID. If you can use Notepad, if you are using a shell. So database name. What is my database name? Is WordPress. You can put your company name there, but I'm using WordPress. Everything is case sensitive, very case sensitive. So I recommend you use a very simple DB WordPress. Then username is WordPress. And the password, use your own password. But for this class, I'm using WordPress at. But in a production environment, I can't use this kind of password. It's too simple. I just don't want something that will give me. I don't want to think too much. It's just a class, but you have to follow best practices. Okay, what next? Okay, now our security code. The security is here. So we can copy, go to this link. You see this link here? Copy this link and get your stuff. So I'm copying it here, Control C. Then I'm going to copy it, paste it here, but I already have done it. So you come here, go to, you can come to what, you can come here, you can get most of these informations here too. Get your files. You can also come here. This site is very, very useful. How to install your PHP latest. Your PHP version must be compatible with your WordPress for it to work. I can also come here. This material came so handy. Then you already know your stuff. And use your WordPress. Can also come here and get your materials too. So in case you are stuck. So let's continue. You come here, pick this to get your API sort configuration. Control C, open a new tab, paste it, because it's going to give you some code. Enter the code. See all the code here. Okay, I didn't copy it well. I didn't copy it well. See here. Let's copy from here and paste it here. You get your codes. This is your authentication code. It is different. Now, if you do it, you can have different code. But I'm using this for my own system. So you see this place. Come here and remove everything here, everything. Or you can decide to be copying one after the other. And for me, I just feel it's not necessary. Let me just delete everything. Okay. Everything is 8 lines. So 8 lines. So deleting everything. I'm pasting the one I copied. You can decide, if you don't want to do a secure one, you can decide to put your own paraphrase stuff. It's better you do it. And please also keep that file. You need it. Save it. All this code, save it so that you don't have issue when you are trying to restore your servers. Okay. Then what other thing do we need to do? This is our PHP file. Let's go straight to. Okay, I think with this we are done. Escape. WQ. I'm using Vim. Okay, it's been configured. We have configured that. Now let's go to our WordPress and start. Okay. Now we've configured our admin. We are going to copy this WordPress folder, a copy into file.www.html. You already know, so that this application can work comfortably. That's why we are copying this both the configuration and we are copying into this place. So different web applications also have their own. I think we are using Apache. That's why it's that. So if it's Nginx, Nginx is in I think user/etc/HTML, something like that. Okay, let's go to let's make directory called block. Directory called block. Let's click on that directory called. Let's copy WordPress that is in blog. Let's copy into that directory. I think copy. Let's make directory called. Okay, we've done that. Then let's edit our HTTP file, configuration file, so that it can be easy to. So in configuring this, I'm using Vim, so you can use that stuff to be comfortable with. And listening at port 80 for root etc/httpd, and our username, user group, Apache, localhost. I'm going to this place, going to this directory .var, this directory, into this directory. I'm going to allow override. Allow all. Yes, allow all. Thing. Run it to again. There's the first thing. And that's the only thing we need to do here. Version file so much. Okay, that's the only one I want to allow. Okay. Allow all. Okay, now let's give right to the user to, let's give rights to any group that you create to use that, Okay. Sorry, not there. What did I do? Mistake. Okay, so it's more. Okay, then escape and WQ. So we're back. So let's allow the user change ownership. So the change ownership of the Apache. We've done that. Now let's also change the mode of that file. Changing the mode of that file. That 2 means list. And so 77 meaning right. Allow the group to use it to create files and everything. So even the root user will just give a root user. You can start to change it to your own. I'm using this from this. Okay. We will find the executable file of this. Good. Now, when you've done this, you are good to go. Bravo. And you can start configuring your IP, your DNS, and everything. You can come here and how to configure your DNS. You see everything here. See everything here, how to configure your DNS. See from here, allow WordPress. Oh, this is the configuration. Can decide to do all this configuration to the end. And like that. I think we should even do it. Let's do it. We have already allowed. We have done this. So we've done that now. Now let's install PHP graphics library. PHP library. Okay, let's go. Install that. No. I'm using Bash. If you are using other Linux distribution, I'm using Git Bash, so that's why I'm saying copy and paste. But others, you just click on your, just right click, everything will come up. So let me just finish the configuration, then everything is ready for you. So I'm here because I just want to say about this one. Remember we use PHP 7.4. So when you are coming here, you're going to use 7.4, not 7.2. We are using 7.4. So use 7.4 here. So that's the only thing you need to do. And nothing to do. Package excluded due to repository priority protection. So I didn't put sudo. I think I should put sudo. Nothing to do. It's already cleared. Done. Okay. So if you are up to this stage, I want to assure you that your server is up. So I go to my Terraform, copy this, copying this public IP, or you go to your application, your server instance. This is the instance we are configuring. So the same public IP. There you copy the public IP or you copy the DNS thing. For the sake of our class, we are just using. For the sake of our class, we are using public IP, but in a production environment, this is not supposed to be in public. It's to be in private. So, okay. If everything is well set and our application is up and running, then you're supposed to see your application up here. Okay, let's see our application running here.